Hi there. I wanted to come on and create this video so that I could share you a little bit more insight into the winter solstice and why it matters to us to follow the rhythms of nature and let that be our teacher for our lives. I had shared in a previous video that when I was a child, I used to hate winter solstice. The day was short, it was cold. I had to come inside from playing outside much earlier than I normally would. So I felt like my playtime was cut really short, and I couldn't stand that. And living in a subtropical area, even though it might not have been as cold as for other people who live in snowy regions, it was still colder than normal, and I couldn't stand that either. Um, so that's how I felt about winter solstice. It just was too dark for very cold days, and I just didn't like it. And so, with this sense mentally that it was the coldest day, the worst day of winter, and that we were stuck in the middle of winter when actually it was officially the first day of winter. What I didn't realize was that it was not the darkest day because darkness was going to continue to grow. It was the end of the growth of darkness and the beginning of the turning toward light. The solstice lasts, a, about 3 days. The winter solstice means the sun stands still, so basically it doesn't move as quickly from this positioning, and it stays, and we have the longest nighttime on winter solstice. So when I realized that we have the longest nighttime and that the very next day, while it's still within this staying in its place, it was already giving us 1 minute more of daylight. And the next day was one more minute of daylight. And it would continue to give us more and more daylight until the summer solstice, where we have the longest day of daylight in the year. But when you're in the winter solstice, it just seems like you're in the middle of the darkness and that it's never going to end. The truth is, that is the beginning of the end of the growth of darkness. When you understand that, you don't just have hope, you know that the light is coming. Little by little, day by day, each day there's more light. From this moment on, the darkness does not increase. The light begins to return. Think about that in your own life. At first, the changes are subtle, barely noticeable. Things are getting better. A minute here, a breath there. And the days may still grow colder. The landscape may look quiet, barren. There's no proof that anything has really changed, not from your point of view, but so much is changing around you. Some things are shifting, and eventually something shifts in you. The earth has turned her face just enough toward the sun, and she will keep turning, and you will keep turning if you want to, if you don't keep looking back to how horrible things were. If you're in this feeling season of feeling cold, if you're feeling like the light is dim, if you're walking through a time that feels like the dimness is lasting way too long, take a look at nature. And this is your reminder. More light is already on the way. That's the way of nature. That's the way life goes. You don't have to feel it just yet. You don't have to believe it fully. And you only have to know that the turning has begun. At this very moment, winter solstice teaches us that hope does not arrive loudly, and you can go beyond hope into knowing this too shall pass. This has its season. And the light can be counted on to return. It arrives faithfully, increment by increment, day by day. The light grows, not because we force it, but because it is the nature of life for it to return. And so, as the wintry weeks unfold, we watch for small signs: a longer evening glow, a softer edge to the night, a quiet warming of the inner landscape. Little by little, the seeds are able to have the roots grow, and tiny little shoots start to go above the ground. Just a few weeks from now, 6 weeks to be precise, halfway through the winter, going towards spring, you start to see signs of life. And if you're at a place that's covered with snow, those signs of life are happening outside of your line of sight. They're happening anyway. It doesn't just pop up because the snow has melted. It has been happening while the snow was on the ground. This is not the end, but the promise that is held in this moment, the promise that always is kept. The darkness in winter solstice has reached its limit, and the light, patient, persistent, unstoppable, is finding its way back. Let the light find its way back within you before needing to see the light outside of you. It'll help you get through the darkness, and the darkness does have an end. Take care.